did my MBA in minor
Oh,
economics,
oh yeah,
so
oh yeah, fine,
knowledge
fine then.
about it.
So it's Manusha, you only the one who is not having the accounting background, right?
Yeah.
Fine. So what I do generally is whenever I'm introducing some accounting terms, I'll try to give you the detailed, information of the terms that usually I do. But still, if you're facing any issue or if you are still having some doubt on that, let's discuss. Okay, you just raise the question. I'll give you more clarity on that part. Okay, in our
Okay.
sessions.
I hope I do not have much issues because in that ERP config course, while posting all the general ledgers, I think we have dealt with some of the accounting.
Oh yeah. Oh, good, good. Fine then. So today what we'll do is I'll introduce the SAP screen. And first I'll introduce the SAP screen. Then I'll give you the case scenario, complete case scenario. What happens with the client, why they are deciding, what is the need for selecting the ERP. We'll go with the case study, complete case study. Once we understand the case study, then we'll try to understand what is the requirement. That is called requirement gathering, right? So in this process, every document which is required or every information which is required, we'll discuss. Fine. And what is recommended is you need to prepare your own notes on these topics which we are discussing, so that whenever the assignments will be given, you should be able to give the presentations on these topics.
Okay.
Okay.
And in this process, since it's getting recorded and we need to have a quality of recording, I request everyone to mute their mics so that we can avoid the background sounds and all. And if you have a question, you can raise your question by unmuting your mic. That way we'll communicate each other. Fine. Now just a second. In 2 minutes. Device. What happened to this device? Yeah, it's connected now. Now I believe you people can see the screen, and yeah, fine. So first what I'll do is I'll demonstrate the SAP screen so that we'll understand what exactly the SAP screen looks like and what is the use of the screen. Then we'll try to understand the client and the client case scenarios. Okay. So this is SAP GUI. We call this as SAP GUI. Okay, this logon pad. Okay. In this logon pad, you can mention n number of instances. This we can call, technically we call this as instance, and functionally you can call this is the link where you can connect your server. That details are provided to you, the login details, So usually what happens, every user will have the username and a password provided. The credentials are provided. Now when you double click this, the login page will open. Actually this is treated as a session. The term here which you are using is session. Okay, session is equal to, generally in general sense we can say it is page. Okay, right. Now SAP, it requires login language, username, password. By default the language is English here, and here you will be provided with the username. Okay, now before going further, I'll try to give you information on this screen. Okay, here you have this client identification called 800. What do you mean by client? As I told you, SAP product, it comes with default servers. What is the default server which SAP comes with? One is development, one is quality assurance server. Okay, so production is nothing but a copy of development client. Now when you're talking about the identification here, usually this 800, for example, development is 800, testing is 810, production is 000. This is the identifications given. Okay, so we can consider this as a development client, but not exactly. This is a training client. So generally we can consider this as a development client for the training purpose only, not the real project. Now one more point here we need to understand here is this ECC 6.0, EHP 7. ECC 6.0 is the version, and this EHP is the enhancement package. EHP stands for enhancement package, number called 7. So it's similar like for operating system you get frequent updates, right? Frequent updates. So something like this. Okay, EHP also frequent updates of the process and all. So you will be provided with a username and a password, and by default the login language is English. Then enter. Okay, now you are into the login page. So this is called initial page, SAP easy access screen. Easy access screen. Now here what happens when you're talking about the end users. Okay, end users. Who are end users? The client business users. Okay, we can call them as business users also. Okay, so these end users, based on their job roles, they will be accessing this easy access screen based on their job roles. This environment is also called as OLTP environment. Remember this term, OLTP. What is this OLTP? Online transaction processing. Online transaction processing. So here, see, for example, you have uh, some clerk who is dealing with the vendors, some clerk with dealing with the customers. So vendors, what he does, he is posting the invoices here. His role is to post the vendor invoices. One more clerk, his role is to post the customer invoices. So role based menus can be customized here. Okay, so this is the posting environment. To make this business getting posted, consultants, we as a consultants, we need to work in other screens. We need to develop the requirements. So to get into the other screen, what we need to do is, this is called enter button, and this is a command box. And here you can give some commands. In SAP we have so many commands to execute. Okay, as well as we have navigation path also to execute. Right, first I'll show you some other screen here. Right, so SPRO, enter. Then you have these three options. Select this SAP reference IMG button. Okay. Now this is one other screen, display IMG screen. Right. So I'll show you the two screens here. This is one's first screen. See, easy access screen, and this is IMG screen. We as a consultants, after collecting the requirements, we develop those requirements in IMG screen so that the person who are using, the business users, they use the process for posting of their transactions and looking up their business using the easy access screen. Okay, there are the two different screens. Now as I told you, this particular complete page is called as a session. In SAP we call it a session. Like this, now right now I had opened two sessions. In this way we can open multiple sessions. Three, this is third session, and 1 second. So this is third, this is fourth, okay, this is fifth. Okay, up to 6 sessions we can open. Means each user, he can open up to 6 sessions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. When a user is trying to open a 7th session, it says that maximum number of sessions reached. So by default, SAP allows users to create to work with 6 sessions simultaneously. Okay, session is equal to one job or one page, whatever you call that. Now to close the sessions, what we need to do, we need to we can use this close buttons, or we can use this log off button. Okay, see, log off from this page or close this page. Okay, like this. Or we have one more command. For example, I'm opening like this. Right, so we have a couple of sessions here. What I can do, in single shot also I can close all the sessions, like one after the other I can close, or use command called /NEX /NEX. So when I'm executing this command and then press enter here, see, every login is closed, everything is closed. Okay, now again the user need to log in. Usually we recommend to use this /NEX when we are closing our work. Okay, at the end of the day you want to log off from your work and you want to move from the laptop or desktop. At that stage it is recommended to use /NEX. Okay, now I'll tell you one more interesting thing here. SPRO is one command. Okay, this we call this as transaction code. Transaction code. Now we are in this session called SPRO. This is in easy access. Okay, and I'll create one more, and let me put this into another transaction code called, for example, F-02. This is one posting screen. Okay, now I want to close the first session, this session. Okay, so sometimes what happens, you can directly close this, but what happens is at times server will be too busy, so the page will not be closing. I mean, it will not execute the close command. So to terminate that page, you can indicate the page number and you can terminate that. Okay, /U1. Not that command is /I1. See, first one is gone. We have only 2 sessions. So page number wise also you can close this. Okay. Now for example, now this is the second session, it becomes first here in this case, and this is the second, and let us create one more. We'll put this as FS00, and we'll create one more, and we'll keep this as FB50, some transaction codes. Yeah. Now I want to close a particular session, like I want to close a session called FS00. Okay, FS00. So here it is this one. Okay, FS00 is this screen. So what I can do, I can give a command here from this screen asking system /I and 3. That particular session is closed. We use this, I used actually the other one maybe. So we use these commands to terminate the logins, okay, to terminate the sessions. Fine. Right. Now I'll show one more interesting screen here. So we have here we have 2 commands. All right. So just a second. Now one screen is easy access screen, one screen is IMG screen. What does IMG stands for? Implementation guide screen. Now here you are trying to execute one command. For example, I am executing this command called FS00. This is one command, okay? FS00. It is working here. Now, whereas from this screen, if I am trying to use the same transaction code, FS00, see, it is not working. Okay, it's not working. Okay. Whereas I had used a command called /n and then followed by the transaction code. Then it started working. Okay, so the whole idea here is you can use different commands for different purpose. Slash is a command asking to start a new process with the followed by the transaction code, like FB50, one transaction code. Okay, /n FS00, one transaction code. /n SPRO, /n SPRO, one more transaction code. Okay, /n easy access. Okay, like this. And I told you like we can create a session using the create option here, right? With a command also we can also create with a command. That's like /o followed by the transaction code. So it creates the transaction code. It opens a new session followed by the transaction code. For example, FS00. See, now another session created with FS00. Okay, /o SPRO. See, like this. O is to open a new session. N is to start a new session in a same page. So this point's clear, right? You have any questions, you can ask me. /n, yeah.
I have one question. You told that development has some client number associated. So in our university, we use 720 and 730.
Maybe 7.
Okay, our
Go ahead.
720 and 730. So is that development should have only 800 number, or it is different for each company?
It is a it's a client specific. No need of
Okay.
same thing. Yeah. And your 720 is also a training client only.
Okay.
That is for sure.
Hmm.
Okay, fine. Any other questions?
No.
How about others? No, right? Fine. So I'm using a command here slash and ex. So every completely disclosed. Fine. Now we'll try to understand the client. First we'll try to understand the client. Then we'll try to understand the client business. Then we'll try to understand the requirement of ERP. Okay. In this process we'll understand what is SAP. Okay. What is this client? Client usually it's our business. Okay. We can call this as business. So to understand client, first we need to understand the two sides of two parties here. One is client itself, one is implementation partner. Okay, we call this as ERP partner, ERP implementer, or implementation partner, any kind of a terms. Now, our client is, for example, it's a manufacturing company, and we'll take this something called ABC manufacturing company. Okay, so this company is will become our client. How? Already he is running the software. He is having his own software, for example, Oracle, and then he is not happy with the Oracle, with respect to his business. So what he does, he finds a better alternative in the market, and he gets information on SAP as well as any other, okay, let's say JD Edwards. So instead of JD Edwards, he feels SAP will be the better one for the future of his business also, right? So this is our client now. This is actually the business client, okay? And how he becomes to our client is like here we are from I am implementation partner side. Who are the implementation partner? Like for example, IBM, Accenture, okay, like Infosys, any company which can do the implementations, which has the eligibility to do the implementations, those will be considered as implementation partners. Okay. Now, for example, we have three players in the market. Now, client has identified that SAP is the one which will be selected for the implementation to his business. It also needs to identify the partner who will be the partner to implement this SAP. So it raises it calls for the quotations, and each company gives their own quotations, quotation 1, quotation 2, quotation 3. Based on the available quotations, looking at the price and equilibrium points, company will give option to one client, one ERP partner. For example, this is chosen here. Okay, the rest of the people get the rejection letters, and this will become implementation partner to do the implementation of SAP for client ABC. Is this point clear? Right. Now we as a team we are working for ERP, okay, implementer. For example, Accenture. So we are as a team, okay. Now, what is our work? What are our job roles? We need to identify this. Okay. So this comes with the understanding of the consulting as well as working with the business scenarios of our client. To know your roles, okay, to know your roles, first you need to know what is SAP, what it offers. Then, side by side, you also should know what is ABC business. If you understand the business, you will try to map it with SAP. Once you map it with SAP, you can easily work with your roles which are allotted to the implementation or to the project. Okay. Now, we'll try to understand this. ABC, our client. Here, he has different business. Okay, he's into manufacturing. and then he has general ledger accounting, customers, vendors. He had lots of assets. Okay, these are with respect to the financials. Whenever a company is into manufacturing, automatically you can understand that it also will have controlling module. Okay, module controlling module covers with, like as I told you, cost element accounting, cost center accounting, profit center accounting, internal orders, product costing, COPA. Okay, this much, right? So now we understood that there are different processes for GL accounts, different process for the customers, vendors, assets. What we need to do is we need to do this documentation. Okay, most of the implementation depends on documentation work only. If there is no proper documentation done for the process, the quality of implementation will be always low. Once the quality of implementation is low, the success of the implementation will be very less. Okay. Now, in this process to understand documentation, I'll reveal one document called request for proposal, RFP document. This RFP document talks about so many input field values, okay, so many requirements of our client. So I'll open up this document and explain each point of that, and I'll share the document to you people also. But request is like you need to prepare your own bullet points from that which you understood. Okay. So far what you have understood, we have seen that there is one client and he had identified the product SAP, and he also hired the implementation partner. Now we as a team of implementation partner, we understood that there are the different business scenarios of the client, and we are ready to take up this project. Okay. Now the initial stage of this project is request for proposal document. This request for proposal document is the first step of getting in touch with the implementation partner. Okay, the client will be giving his requirement, and the study of that requirement will be done by the implementation partners, and the implementation partners will accordingly send back the request as per their quotations, and one quotation will be chosen. Okay, that is the scenario.
So, can I
Yeah,
ask a question here?
yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
So first request proposal is sent by the clients to the implementation partners, and after reviewing then they give a quotation to the client, right? Or
Who give quotation to
does
the client?
RF the implementation partners?
No, I didn't understand. Come again. Sorry.
Like, no, I was asking whether request for proposal comes first or the quotation comes first.
No, request for proposal.
Okay. Yeah, I got it now.
All right. Now this is document 1. In this document, we have the option called what is the need of SAP, and the project details, scope of work document, so on. Okay, this information is very practical and is much needed to become as a complete consultant. Okay, learning SAP screens, however, that is mandatory, but it is 70% work, but the rest of the 30 important percent is documentation identifications. So need for SAP. Why this is client. Client is talking about his requirements. The client what is the need of SAP for the client? Now ABC is our client, as I told you. He has now been it's into operation since 8 years, and it is having a significant growth path. Now to set up to streamline the business process and enable to high growth rate, the client has chosen to change the or adopt the new ERP. So in this process, what it says towards this end, it has identified SAP is an effective IT tool which will serve its needs related to systems and process. Okay, now in this case, what is the scope of work? This is a project details. Okay, this is important clause here. What is your project details means you should be able to understand that this is the scope of work, this is the requirement, then this is the expectations of deliveries. Now, scope of work. This RFP, request for proposal, is for supply, implementation, and support of SAP ERP solutions for standardization and improvement of the process at clients ABC. Particularly, this is intending that there should be supply of SAP as well as implementation of SAP and support of SAP and its solutions. Solution means the client has business and what is the solution in SAP for that business. Okay, that is the requirement to improve the process of the ABC. Okay, now the scope of work is like what is the scope of this implementation? What is the work we need to do? First one is supply, implementation, and support of SAP to cut over the entire gamut of process at ABC. This will be including configuration of SAP system and customization wherever it is required. You should be having a new term here. See one term called configuration and one term called customization. What is this? There are two terms, right? Configuration and customization. Configuration means like already the options are available and you adopt that options. Customization is you tailor the requirements and you build the options. So customization, right? So the first one is here supply and implementation, and the second one would be like here ABC will be procuring the hardware, database, license separately, and supply of hardware is not part of the RPF. Okay, what do you understand by hardware? You can open your mics.
Manufacturing components.
Hardware, maybe servers.
Yes, hardware is
Servers. Yeah.
exactly. So hardware here, it means it's about server, the system configuration, RAM configurations, okay, all processor, all these things. So what here the client mentioning that this RFA document is not talking about the hardware. The client will be purchasing the hardware as well as database license. We have the database, right? Backend would be the database. So database related license the client will purchase. Hardware the client will purchase. These are not included in the RFP. Okay. However, the ERP implementer will provide suitable industry standards, standard hardware, network, and infrastructure recommendations to support transactions for business needs. It means that, however, since the client, since the implementation partner, he is very good in the business, he did many implementations, he can recommend and he can give us information that this would be the standard purchases of the hardware. This is the configuration. This is this. Recommendations are accepted. Now, hardware recommendation is a important part of evolution of RFP, and this hardware recommendation has to be submitted as per schedule mentioned in the project timelines. Bottom documents, you have the project timelines. Based on that, this information should be provided. Now, first point is supply, implementation, and support of SAP for the process. Second one is the client will purchase hardware and database license. However, the implementation partner can give the suggestions for the purchase of this. And third one is change management. What is the change management? For example, now you have in this company ABC, there is sales organization. And future there will be one more sales organization. So what happens, the SAP system, once it is customized, for the future it also should be flexible. So whenever there is a management change in the organizational structure, in the business process, or in any of the other areas, this change should be adaptable. So the implementation should be having a good change management options. Okay. Now, training for ABC officials. This is for end users. Now, client has ABC company. It has its end users. Currently, they were working with Oracle. Now they will be working with SAP. But all the people who are working for ABC, they does not know what is SAP. So definitely the training should be imparted for the officials in ABC client side. And then data migration from existing system to non-digitalized resources. So data migration, this is one important key factor. However, as I told you, I'll be training you people on data migration side also, so that in the future, if you get a data migration project, definitely you will be adapted to that project, and you have more options on the career side. Fine. So change management, training, and data migrations. These are the project details related to this. Okay. Now, under delivery side, one point here is 3.1 scope of work, 3.2 deliverables. What are the deliverables here? SAP implementation shall include the following key deliverables. What is that? Software is one key deliverable. Software supply, installation, and configure SAP system to facilitate streamline enterprise wide integration. And this is one software. Second one is implementation services. Implementation services. Here the implementer, ERP implementer, must develop a comprehensive and detailed approach and strategy for the implementation. Okay. And what is covering in this? It is covering project scope, plan of implementation, overall implementation plan and working plan, migration plan, testing plan, training plan, cutover and commissioning plan. Okay, these are the different plans which implementation partner or implementation services should be provided. Fine. See, customization or development should be kept to a minimum and as far as possible industry best practices. Okay, it is not like you can build up any of the requirements. You can spend a lot of resources in developing that requirement. It is not recommended there. The customization is should be minimized. So requirement development should be minimized. Fine. Now this is talking about the quality, all these things. Testing methodology. Anyone from testing side? No. Yeah, this batch not. All right. So here testing methodology. Conduct testing for the system, applications, and any customized components. Testing shall include but not limited to the following ERP. Following. Okay. What is that? Unit testing, performance testing, system integration testing, user accepting testing. Okay, like this. So testing. These are the testings which the client wants the software to be tested. Any idea on testing? Does anyone has the idea?
No.
Sai, about you?
No.
Fine. Here, unit testing. So we have different types of testings. Okay. Unit wise means field by field testing. Okay. Performance is again here. See, they have mentioned that these are the different tools here. OEM is one tool. So testing. This should not be considered actually. So testing is mandatory part. We have a testing team for doing the testing of this process, which is customized, which is developed, and the test case or test result should be okay, so that only the process will be moved forward and it will be handed over in the production side. These are all different testing. training. Training is like we have functional and technical training to business and IT staff in operating and using the solution, including the database and application softwares. Okay. And ERP implementers should provide training on applications, software, and other areas. Usually, the test environment uh, required for the training has to be set up by the implementation. See, this is a complete document which is talking about what the implementation partner should be doing at the time of implementing and what is the client requirement for those process. And data migrations. What is this data migration? Let's talk something about the data migration. Now, see, this is ABC client, okay, and he has the data related to vendors, related to customers, okay, vendors, customers, and assets. Example. Now he has data records, so many records under these sections. Now this is in Oracle and this is SAP. This same data should be available in SAP, right, for reporting views, lookups and all. So this data should be migrated into SAP system. But if you look at this, there is a structural difference, right? This is this structure and this is this structure. So there is a structural differences. We use different tools to migrate the data. So SAP recommends LS&W tool. And we need to make sure that all the data which is available for vendors should be available in this SAP system. So this is a data migration. The data should be migrated or copied to SAP system. This is also a separate project usually, it is given as a separate project. Fine. So this data migration is given here. ERP implementer will provide the data migration plan and will be responsible for all data migrations. And also ERP implementer will provide all the data master formats to ensure proper data migrations. Okay. And managing go live event. What is this? Here, when the system is online, okay, like it is production, at that time you have so many issues coming in. So what the client is asking the implementer is, implementer partner will provide detailed list of specific activities for go live event. The project plan submitted by the vendor must ensure that the activities are completed before the event. Okay, and before the go live event, hardware procurement, purchase, and deploy should be completed. All training programs must be completed before go live event. The go live event will be dependent on successful UAT sign off. The client will say, and the interviewer will be asking you question. Since you will claim that you have some end-to-end project experience and all, he will ask that, see, what are the prerequisites or pre-checklist for go live event, or what is the requirement for go live event. Okay? Some questions like this. So we can say that uh, before the go live, what all the things we need to do. Hardware procurement should be done before the go live. Purchase and deployment should be completed of hardware. Okay, all the training programs must be completed. Likewise, the go live event will be dependent on the UAT sign off. What is UAT? User acceptance test sign off. Okay, any idea what is this UAT?
Can
Okay,
I guess?
yeah, sure, definitely.
Maybe after the goal of production, after testing, the end user, the employees of the particular client has to use it. If everything is proper, and then I think they sign off. Indicating that it's okay.
All right. How many of you people agree to this statement?
I agree to that.
Okay. How about you? Usually, This is correct. What you said is correct. Okay, I'm giving you more practical, adding few more
Okay.
sentences to that sentence. Like in the business, you have clerk. Okay, when you look at the employee side, you have clerical grade, you have officer grade, you have manager grade. Now there will be one hierarchy which will be the owner of the process. For example, payment process is there. Who is the owner of the payment process? We can say that like the manager who is in charge for making the payments. So he will be considered as the process owner. It is called process owner. So this process owner, he runs the process payment cycle. His team will run the payment cycle, and all the team members will get desired results. Once this process is completed, the owner of the process will give a signature to the process. He says that in SAP, our process is working according to the plan. So who is the user here? These are the users. So they accepted that the process is working fine. So this testing is going according to the plan and they give their signature for that. This is nothing but acceptance of the test. What you said is correct. I'm adding little more, couple of lines to that. All right. Now, post go live support. This is post go live support. Now, once the go live stage, ERP implementer will provide hand holding on and on-site support for at least 6 months after go live stage. So here the requirement is, now Accenture in our example it is doing the implementation. So in this document only they have clearly mentioned that after the go live stage, Accenture should support the implementation for a period of 6 months. What the support should be, like it should be based on the implementation. See here, at least 6 months after the go live stage, to resolve all implementation issues, operational issues and production issues, and provide support. Hand holding is nothing but support. The term here they had used, hand holding. So all the documents will also be converted to final release version during this stage. So series of documents will be created, version documents will be updated, and everything should be converted because before going to this stage. And the post go live support will address all user level queries, fixing bugs, incorporation of new requirements, owning to legal, statutory and policy changes, changes to configurations, patch updates, upgrades, database administration, security, etc. For this purpose, the bidder is expected to provide detailed process of the following for logging requests, assigning requests, and recording, resolutions, tracking overall time for taken for resolutions. So here, the clear identification they are mentioning is that the product should be so flexible that if there are any policy changes in this course of process, the system should be adaptable for the policy changes. Any configurations to be customized or anything to be added as a patch or upgrades, the system should be flexible to do that. Now, coming to the hardware requirements, implementer partner is required to provide for the detailed configuration of the proposed development and testing and production server environments as per the business and technical requirements. The recommendations for the hardware should consider the following. What is that? The recommendation hardware should be industry standards, that is one point, and have high reliability, fault tolerance, redundancy, and high availability. Okay, and also the recommended hardware and software should support the requirement for a minimum period of 5 years post the acceptance of the solutions. Okay, and what is the network requirement? Here again, ERP implementer should provide the details of the network requirements for the proposed solutions. ABC has a plan of have 5 offices. Okay, this is they are extending the offices in India here, and networking plan and architecture should meet high availability and requirement and high security standards. Okay, so now here we have project management. what is the project management here? ERP implementer should propose a suitable project manager or a team with diversified expertise to meet the requirement of ABC. The manager or the team will do overall project management throughout the life cycle of the project to ensure successful completion of the project. Okay. So what are his activities here? Timely delivery of the deliverables, suggest the hardware and network requirements, support evaluation and hardware networking proposals, oversee delivery and installation of IT infrastructure, oversee network implementation, coordination between various stakeholders, and manage the total project, participate in all meetings, define control parameter, project segments. So these are some expectations from the project management. Okay. If you can digest this information, I'm telling you very practical. If you can digest this information and can talk few lines on this document, you can equally compete with 4 to 5 years of industry experience guy easily. Okay. So that's the reason initially I had introduced this document. Since you are starting from scratch, since you will be more focused on learning, it is advisable to read this document first. Okay, I'll send this document copy, and I want to give you some work also today. I'm not sure whether you have time to. Can you have 1 hour time today?
Yeah, sure.
Yes.
I believe
Yes,
everyone has
yes,
1 hour time, right? So what I request,
yes.
I'm sending you this document. You go through this document, and from each paragraph, you take up the bullet points. You take up the bullet points and prepare your notes. Okay, I mean the notes in the sense Word document. And then usually you can consider this as a first assignment also. You just prepare this document. If still you have some time, try to prepare some presentation on this part using PPT or any of the other options.
Okay.
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 The more, let me tell you one sentence, the more the document you digest, the more confident you can face the interview and face the client. You might be seeing your friends who are working or who are learning the courses. When there is when there is a need for, I mean, when there is a time to attend the interview, most of the times we get little tensed, right? The reason why we get tensed is we don't know the real work, what happens. Once you learn this document, it is talking about the real work only, right? What should be done, what is expected, and all this thing, right? So what happens, the interviewer definitely he wants to check with your knowledge. Okay, he says that what are the project deliverables. You can easily talk about the project deliverables, right? These are the deliverables, software
Yes.
installation and all. So it boosts your confidence automatically. What is the scope of the document, or what is the project scopes, or what is the training methodologies, data migrations? These are practical questions, very practical, and you have a couple of sentences to give answers for these questions, right? Obviously
Yeah.
you will have more upper edge compared to the others. So I'll send this document right now. Go through the document and prepare your notes. I appreciate notes is good. If you have some time, you prepare a presentation, PPT kind of a model. If you have time, okay, not mandatory. So that will be more advantage. Fine. Next day session, I'll take up the scenario side, documentation. We have seen some documentation here, right? I'll take up the scenario side. We'll start working with the customization. We'll build up some model. Along with that, we'll move further.
Okay.
All right.
Can I ask something,
Yeah,
like
please
just to
go ahead.
confirm?
Yeah.
So, regarding the project management, so with the requirements and all, seeing in the document, suppose if we take the same example that you've told us regarding the ABC manufacturing and the Accenture being the implementation partner, so will Accenture have a separate project manager to ABC to negotiate with ABC, and then
Yes.
Accenture and SAP to make
Yes.
sure that everything is delivered to ABC,
Yes.
right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Now we four are our team, okay? We four are working for
Yeah,
Accenture,
yeah,
and now
yeah.
you will be sent to work for ABC. No, everyone will be sent for other projects, okay? If you are on a project management level,
Okay, okay.
and you will be heading complete of that project.
Yeah, and I'll be having some other team who looks
Yeah,
after each specific things,
you
right?
will be hiring the team members in that case
Oh, okay, okay, okay.
because you understood the client. Now, as per the
Yes,
client, you want the functional experts, solution
yes.
experts. So you recruit them, and you will be surprised to know that if a budget also will be allotted to you,
Okay.
budget, and
Okay.
if you can minimize the cost, the rest of the thing is for you.
Yes.
It's a big sum.
Okay.
So that's it.
So, as a consultants, the client expects us, I mean, do we have a separate team for configuration, separate team for testing, or
Yes, depends on the project and depends on the budget which
okay,
is allotted. Some
okay,
companies, for example, consultancies, we talk about consultancies. Sometimes what happens, these consultancies also can pick up some projects from the client. And the budget, which is, I mean, the amount which is agreed for the consultancies is different from the amounts which is agreed to the companies. For example, Accenture is bidding. Accenture bids, obviously, they are on a higher side. Whereas
okay,
a new consultancy, which is, started, which has started his business, what it does to get a good name and a goodwill, on the implementation side, they go with a less quotation. So what happens? Obviously, there is a budget, less budget. Once there is a less budget, this consultancy it looks for multiple skilled consultants. Like
okay.
you could be good in configuration, you can be good in documentation. Also, you can be good in testing and data migrations. So they hire you like this. Depends on the project actually, but usually you'll have a separate team.
Okay. So when we get interviews from the clients, so we may fall under any of the teams, right? Either testing or configuration.
That that clearly it will be mentioned in the JD job descriptions.
Okay, okay.
Whether the
Okay.
requirement is for testing or data migration or customization or support or end-to-end project documentation, that clearly it will be mentioned there.
Okay.
If you follow the training from starting to ending, I'm pretty sure you can be fitting into any of the areas.
Yeah.
Okay.
But again,
I
I'm
have a
telling you,
question.
yeah, 1 second. But again, I'm telling you that all this knowledge you can acquire only with the discussions, reading, discussion. The more questions you are asking, the more answers you are getting, right? Obviously, if there is no
Yes,
Yeah.
question,
that's right.
then there will be limited answers. Yeah,
Yeah.
go ahead. Someone has asked
Yeah.
a question. Yeah.
Yeah, I have a question with testing. I mean, generally the testing is, it's from the client side, or we have to recruit a team for testing as well.
Usually, what happens in actually, see, if you are implementation side, okay, we are all implementation side. Now, if we are recruiting the testing team, who is built for that?
We are build.
Yeah, build.
No,
Yeah.
no. Client is built
Yeah, client is build will get the yeah some.
because more or less all the project is completed till the time project gets completed and support gets completed. All this is estimated prior to the implementation only, right? That we need to have a testing
Okay.
team, we need to hire four testers. All this thing we are
Mm-hmm.
including and we are giving a quotation. So
Mm-hmm.
what happens? It is a cost to the company only, the client only, right?
Okay.
What the client does, it comes to a point where it can supply their users for testing. Point one.
Okay.
Okay.
Point two, if the implementation is demanding that there should be separate testers, then our side, we recruit the testers and we work with the testing side.
Okay.
As a consultant, now this is important logic. You understand this? We are all consultants. As a consultant, you have seen your client. Which one is best suited in this case scenario? Whether you accept the client users to do the testing, or you want your you want your company to hire the testers and do the testing? Which one do you recommend?
Maybe client side, because they are using the product and they might have more idea on how things work and where might be.
Generally, every company has a team of testers, so probably the same people can be used for this as well.
Yeah, even I feel the same, because if we recruit testers from outside, so we must have to pay them. So when client is agreeing to pay, so why to hire testers from outside?
As a consultant, we are supposed to look at our company, not the client. Remember this.
Okay.
If you are not looking what your company, see, simple scenario. Now you require 4 testers. Okay. You require 4 testers. In this case, if you are allowing the client side, if you are allowing the client side members, okay, to work for the testing side, then you are unnecessarily closing 4 options for the company, right?
Yeah.
4 positions for the company. Means you are closing your opportunities. If everyone in the hierarchy, I mean our seniors, if everyone are thinking like that, we don't find the jobs, right? Point 1.
I thought that, I mean, within the budget, they said that testing should also be a part of implementation. So I
So,
thought they already pay us for the testing, and if we hire outside people, so we have to pay them extra.
Exactly. Yes,
that's
that's
what.
what I
So
thought.
that's what I thought.
See, that's what I'm saying. When you are clearly given the information that the testing also should be done at our preparation of the budget, I mean our quotation, what we include that this process requires 4 testers. So 4 testing from my side we will be recruiting. We'll include this and we'll give the budget to them. I mean we'll give the quotation to them, right?
Okay.
Already we have did that actually. We have created that space,
Okay.
right? Another point which I want to tell you here is it's not that we want to loot our client. It is not like that. But opportunity wise we should pick it up. Then only the billing can be done good. Once you have a good billing, then only you will be paid very good.
Okay.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, can it be like this? Like, if ABC has their own testers and we say that, okay, we implement this and you pay your own customers and you test this from your side, can we negotiate in this way? Will this happen in
If
real time?
if that is the case, then okay, let us assume that the client we are asked the client to do the testing their side. There are some companies which do the testing their side. They hire the testers, they do their testing from the client side. For example, this is SAP. Okay, this is SAP structure. Now client is used to have Oracle structure. Okay, like for example, this is Oracle structure. Now there is a structural difference, right? The end users, how they can learn what is SAP and how do they testing from the client
We
side.
have to train.
Yeah, obviously we need to train the users. Train the users,
Yes.
then ask them to test. It's a
Okay.
duration. It's a duration and services charge again, right? Duration is
Okay.
extending, service charges are extended, right? Obviously we want to bill the client for the services. Instead of that, what the
Yes.
client does, if the client is a big organization, it hires the SAP testers,
Okay.
and this
Okay.
testing part it will not lead, it will not give to this ERP implementer. It will take care of its side. If the testing
Okay.
team says that there is a bugs here or there is a functional process differences or the testing is not done properly, they communicate with the ERP implementer and further the resolution will be taken place.
Okay.
Okay.
Usually this is happens, but as a consultant, what our solution should be is always we should try to build the client in terms of services, and also we should be with respect to the industry standards. It's not like we are looting the client and we are not giving a proper solution. We should be able to give a proper solution as well as we should be making the bills to the client, from the client,
Okay.
right? So
Okay.
in this case scenario, what is the solution? We recommend to hire our own
Our own, yeah,
testers.
Yeah.
testers.
the client will come up with a solution saying that no, we have our testers team, we'll work out with the testers teams. So in that case, what would be the solution? We'll mention that, we'll check whether this clause is mentioned in the document or not. If this clause is not mentioned in the request for proposal document, then it is assumed that we need to provide the services to the testing. Right.
Okay.
In the hardware side, you have seen the document, right? In the hardware side, what it is clearly mentioned that the hardware and the database license will be purchased by client only.
Client itself.
Yeah.
So this is clearly mentioned. So we are not liable for the purchase of the hardware and the database licenses. But as an implementation partner, since the company has more experience on the ground, we can suggest the best industry standard solutions and industry standard hardwares, so that the client can get benefited by that. Okay. The more the document you are reading, the more the input fields you will get, and once you document all these points, according to your understandings in your private notes, at the time of interview, I'm pretty sure that you can dominate the interviewer. Right. So this is it. I'll send this document, and whenever you have some time today, just prepare your notes. And tomorrow I would like to see that, and then we'll move further. Okay.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah.
During the start of this document, there is scope, right? In the scope, it is mentioned that supply, implementation, and everything. But again, it says that hardware and database licensing will be taken care by the client itself. So, what does supply exactly means? Is it the software supply?
Yeah, I guess so.
Here, right?
I think the final SAP product.
Yes.
This one, right? Scope of work.
Supply, implementation, huh?
Supply, implementation, and support of SAP. Okay, this is talking about these three areas: supply of hardware, implementation, and supporting of SAP.
So, no, my question is that since they told that hardware and everything will be taken care by the client itself, so here in this case, supply in the sense the software, the SAP.
Yeah, I guess it's
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking.
Okay.
Yeah, it is clearly given, right? Supply of SAP services. Okay, we can consider this SAP.
Okay.
Supply and implementation, support of SAP. It's clearly here it is talking about SAP only.
Okay. Fine.
Sir, I have one more query if you have time to
Yeah,
solve.
definitely.
Okay. What is cut to commission plan exactly?
One second, let me open that.
I saw it somewhere, I remember, towards that. Yeah. Here.
Cutover and commission plan. Cutover and commission plan. Cutover activities will be there, like say month-end cutover activities. What do you call by month-end cutover means? That particular time, everything should be closed.
Okay.
So cutover is
like
a
deadline?
Deadline. Yeah, we can say that. Yeah.
Okay.
And,
what exactly does it mean? Like, I mean, they provide a deadline, and if you don't really,
see, training is there. You have the training. Okay. When should this training should be completed? There should be some plan, right? There will be some scheduled, dates or scheduled period. Likewise, when you're working with the support activities or some enhancement activities, you have a cutover plan that this will be cut over by this time.
Okay.
Likewise, so these are different plans. Definitely we should involve every consultant in his career, more or less. I'm not sure about the entry level guys, but usually what happens is you will be able to you should be getting involved in this kind of documents. Planning, you should be good enough in the planning side. Okay.
It is something similar to project charter, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
This is entirely, I mean, it's like a project management, right?
Yeah. See, why we are working with this document, we would have gone to directly SAP screen and we could start working with the enterprise structure and the traditional way of taking up the training. But why the whole idea here is you should not be the one in the group regularly. Okay. I mean, regular group, what happens? They get trained on the SAP screens. they take a lottery, or they do the chance in getting the interview, and then if that is the case, then getting into a job is difficult.
Yeah,
You have thousands of competitors, right? Everyone knows SAP screens.
that's true. But understanding client and how we
Yeah.
can support SAP, that's important.
Usually,
That's
what
right.
happens if you think that you are a recruiting company, okay? Think that you are a recruiting company and you have your project. I mean, you have your client ready for the project, and what level of people you want to recruit for that project. The level would be definitely the person should be able to understand the process. He should have subject knowledge. He should be more confident, right? These are the common factors.
Yes.
When we are recruiting, we will definitely will look in the profile, that whether the profile has a domain knowledge, whether the profile has a working knowledge, whether the profile is very confident in sending to the client side. If I recruit you, or for example you recruit me, and you are sending me to the client side, I am not confident in my customization, and what I will be talking there, the client will be asking some question and I will be nervous. The minute I am nervous, the client will understand that this is a fake profile, and who will be sued? The implementer company will be sued for that, not me, right? Because client will
That's right.
not strain me. What he does, he directly question you. See boss, you have quotation in this much of big amount, and you are sending a wrong profile, right? So what we can do in this case, if we know one implementation document, when we understand the document properly, more or less the stages will be same for every implementation. Now, once I am recruited for the project, I can go to the client. I can talk about those things which I understood in this document, and there will be
Yes.
definitely few things new for every project. Not only you, if I am doing a project today also, definitely there will be a new thing for me to learn in that particular project. So we'll go with the project KT, and then we'll adapt to the project.
That's right.
So important point all the time. Remember documentation. If you are thoroughly working, I'm telling you, I can show some things, some inner documents which no one can be. I can definitely assure that very few have this access. Only real-time consultants, that to senior roles, 5 to 7 years of experience, they only can handle the documents. I can show you the budget document. I can show you the license document. I can show you completely question answer database. Different tools are there. Okay. However, I'll be showing you as is document, to be document, blueprints. Okay, these are all blueprint. A number of process documents are also there. Provided if you are working 100%, if you're giving 100%. If not, what happens? This will be overloaded, right? We are learning here.
Yeah.
Actually, the focus of this learning was SAP, customization and all. Now I had introduced documentation. Now, however, I am introducing LSNW. I'm introducing few more, reporting, different reporting, scenarios. What happens? This will be overloaded all of a sudden. So just give some time. I'm pretty sure if you can give your 2 months of time, I'm 100% sure if you're following all the instructions, you'll be equally good as 4 to 6 years of industry experience, guys.
Sure.
Yeah. Right?
That's what I felt, that it's easy to learn SAP and all the processes in SAP as we learned in university. We know how to do procurement to pay cycles. We know posting, general entry postings and all. But the main difference is that we don't understand. I mean, they just give us the scenarios and we work on it. But to build the scenarios, it's difficult. You should understand the business
Hmm.
first.
And one thing I'll tell you, as I told you, like most of the consultants, they have so much of domain knowledge, they have so much of expertise in handling the SAP systems, but they fail at the client side. If you are failing at the client side, your billing rate is already, it will reduce. That is for sure.
Yeah.
Why do they
Mhm.
fail at the client side? Because they are not good communicators. Talking in English is not a communication, right? Your
Yeah.
communication is the way you are expressing your knowledge and gathering the other knowledge,
Yes.
right? So, in order to improve that, what I do, as I said, every time in our training sessions, I encourage everyone to give a presentation, talk about the scenarios. Whether the topic which you are talking is correct or wrong doesn't matter. First basic rule is you should be able to talk. Second one, however, the instructor, like, he will take the responsibility to correct you. And the second presentation, you will be more better than the first. The third presentation would be more professional, right? So we'll work like this. Okay, I'm pretty sure that we'll have few more members in this team also, and we'll work with that. In the morning slot, I have 13 people in a slot, okay, in a particular batch. So we have a good team there. So what happens, I can give some scenarios and they are working on the scenarios, and it is moving fast. Likewise, in our team also, we'll have this good team and we'll move further like this. Okay, fine then. So we'll see you tomorrow same time, and I'm sending you this document particularly. Prepare your own notes, bullet points. Also, if you have some time, try to prepare a presentation.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah. Bye.
Thanks.
Sai, I'll convert the file and send you the copy, because right now for you there is no what you call option to make you organizer. So, however,
Okay.
I'll convert the file and I'll send you. Fine then.
All right. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.
You can leave the meeting.